Hey, welcome back to another episode of Open Shutter. In this episode, we are going international because Brad has been kind enough to take the time to come on because right now it's like 12:30 in the morning for him on Thursday. So I think this is a first for us, maybe. I think maybe we've had a couple of shows where we had people that live in different spots, but huge thanks to Brad for taking the time. If you're coming from Brad's side and you don't know what this whole show is about. It's really just about connecting people that make things, either photography or video or painting or whatever it is that you make. We'd love to have you come on and chat because I think that's the way you also learn too, because you kind of learn other ways and other approaches and other strategies. So I think that's just the power of social media and like just being able to like speak with people over the internet when you can't do it physically. So yeah, you're on my YouTube channel. So my channel is about the show, vlogs, documentaries in the Toronto area. And if you're ever in the Toronto area, message me and I'll be glad to show you the city. So I don't want to take up too much of Brad's time, but thanks again, Brad. Make sure you go follow Brad, Film Brad on Instagram. And maybe for the viewers that don't know who you are, maybe just a quick intro about yourself.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so hi everyone. I'm Brad. I'm based over in the UK in London. I'm fairly new to film photography. I sort of jumped into the deep end. Been just going around with the camera everywhere, and just where's appropriate, where's not appropriate. I've got a camera with me both ways. So I'm just sort of quite new to the community and just discovering loads of really cool stuff. So it's really great to be here.
No, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, maybe we can start from the start and like maybe like what got you into photography in like the first place.
Yeah, sure. So I think even though I got involved at probably the back end of the upward curve of sort of going back to film. Yeah. I think for me, I was quite oblivious to film and its sort of growing popularity for quite a while. Yeah. I've always sort of loved the whole nostalgic feel. I'm a 90s kid myself. But sort of anything which ties you back to kind of the good old days, I suppose. But also I guess I was getting tired of seeing all these kind of like modern filters and kind of overexposed kind of like
HDR stuff and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it just took away from kind of the reality of, well, I guess the image you're trying to capture. So I thought. I think one day I just thought, I'm going to go for it. I bought an Olympus Om10, kind of cool classic, I suppose, kind of the go-to.
You have it handy with you?
Yeah, got it here. Yeah. So this is my first one. So I got this from like an old restored like Depop store, I think. So so it came through. I remember buying it and it came through. And I looked at it and just thought, "What am I looking at? Like, how do I try and use this?" So it took me quite a while to kind of a lot of film, a lot of reels ruined before I kind of started to get the hang of it. So
yeah, interesting. Yeah, you know what, film is back even in Toronto because there's a store here in the city that just focuses on film, and it's back, man. Like it's not like it's. Like it's not even. It's like it's pretty mainstream here in Toronto. Like I'm not sure what the scene is in London in terms of film, but it's back here in Toronto in like a big way.
Yeah, I think I've seen quite a few sort of new brands, sort of like new companies try and use film now to try and bring in sort of younger customers, because I feel like it's definitely the younger audience.
Interesting, isn't it? I think it's interesting that it's younger.
Yeah,
it's interesting that dynamic. Because you would think it would be the opposite. It would be like people like later on in life that maybe did film as a kid and they want to get back to it. But it's fascinating. It's younger people.
It's almost like kind of a young kind of revolution where they're kind of going against what's sort of normal as they got into it. So
almost like a rebellion against
against
as you said, like the filters and all that jazz and.
I think we're seeing it as well, just across sort of Instagram and wider social media too, on a wider scale, where people who, if you can recall, 5-6 years ago, I'd say in the height of, sort of social media influencers, and when they first sort of became sort of, I guess, the the new exciting thing on the scene. It was just everything was so fake, and I think social media just had a big U-turn.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's a very slippery slope with that. Like that's why I always say, like, with like anything that you make, like you should always make it for yourself first. You know what I mean? Because if you're making something, if you're taking a photo, if you're making something to get external validation from people, typically it doesn't go very well. So, you know, that's the power of social media. Is like we use social media to connect people and get people on the show. So you could use it to connect and talk, or you can use it just to like scroll and see the likes and the followers and all that that jazz. So there's two ways to approach it, and the latter takes more work in terms of trying to speak with people, especially with people you don't know, people that don't live in the same place as you. Like it takes a little bit of takes more work, right?
Yeah.
To do that, and people just want like the quick fix, like the quick home run and all that. But you know, I mean, people spend decades on their craft.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You don't see that on Instagram or whatever.
No, well, I think one thing I'm seeing now more of people using apps to kind of find that to add grain and to add that kind of film filter.
Yeah, I know. And you're like, no, just use film, man. Just use film.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of shame because like I think people spend so much time and money, like as you said, spending years sort of mastering your craft, and even though I'm new to it, it's still a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of money spent in going around and doing it. And then you get there's been times when I've had sort of 2 or 3 reels processed and only kind of got 1 or 2 photos I think I'm really proud of. And that all the effort, and when you get it back and you think, oh my God, like what a great shot. I'm so glad it's come back so well. And then there's someone next to you just going on the phone, take a photo. Cool.
It's a different dopamine hit, like versus the phone where you get it like right away versus phone where you have to wait a week or whatever it is, right? So it's a different way to get the same kind of hit, but it does feel good though when you like got that shot on film. Like it feels good.
Yeah, I think so. So me and my girlfriend, whenever I get a reel back, so I make the effort. I go in, I drop it off in person at the lab local to us, and when it comes back, and get the email saying here's your download link and here's all the files. Right. And we kind of sit down together and go, right, are you ready? Right, let's open them, let's have a look.
It's like Christmas. It's like Christmas gift.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah. What kind of film do you use usually? Is there a favorite type of film that you like?
Yeah, so I'm still getting to know a lot of them. I usually shoot in color rather than black and white. I feel like I prefer the kind of old, like the old kind of like, I don't want to keep saying 90s vibe because I feel like that's makes me sound really lame.
Senior citizen, man. Senior citizen.
Yeah, but no, so I'm using sort of Kodak Color Plus, either 200s, or I think I'm using a lot of 400s at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is there a place like in London that like is great to get your film? Like, is there a place that you go to all the time to get your film developed?
Yes, I go to a local place called Traia Photo Lab. It's TRAIA Photo Lab. It's a local place near me, right on the water. I think it's fairly new, so it's great to see that they've opened up a new lab. Kind of in line with the new demands. I suppose labs are opening up rather than just still existing. So that's really cool. But yeah, in terms of buying, I don't know what it's like over there. But, it's so hard to buy film.
Not here.
Really?
It's everywhere. It's everywhere.
Oh man, no, it's so hard.
Like, is there a film that you're trying to get that you can't find?
Yeah, so I mean, usually just the standards are hard to get to. So black and white down here is pretty easy to get hold of. But anything color, either you have to find web stores which have it in stock, or you have to wait, got a waiting list, or you have to buy on Amazon, but it's sort of you're talking like upwards of sort of £18 per roll, and it's like 24s. So it's really hard to get hold of.
Not cheap. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know, film. Like, you can find film anywhere. This might be a good time to maybe just show your IG. Maybe you want to pick out a few photos that you like, that mean something to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
people that haven't been to London or seen London, go follow Brad, because he'll show you London, basically, right? So. Yeah,
well, that's it. So most of my shots are around London. I've got a few on my IG, which are
Let me know which ones that you want me to go to. I like this one. This is St. Paul's, right?
Yes, I took that recently. That was a few weeks ago. So that's St. Paul's. Yeah. So I've just by default, without even really realizing it, I've kind of warmed towards the architectural shots. I find those probably easier to take for now. But I do find that they're my current favorite. So yeah, that was done recently, and I think this is the type of shot that I'm trying to do more of. It's a really kind of warm shot, and I think
very summery.
Yeah, so I try and only really shoot at around sort of golden hour time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I think I've got a lot of shots where I've taken. I mean, for every one shot I post, it's probably about 25 I don't, and when it's a bit overcast and a bit grey, which London can be a lot.
Yeah.
You kind of lose the depth in the photo, I feel.
Sure. That makes sense.
Yes. So to be fair, we've been very lucky. It's been a really hot summer and really sunny summer down here. So
good.
I've got a few backed up, but no, yeah. So I work not too far away from St. Paul's. So one of the best bits of advice I ever received about film photography was, if you can, just wherever you go, take your camera with you.
100%.
Which at first I thought, oh yeah, it makes sense, and then I started to realize when I didn't have it, that's when I found like the best times. I wish I had it, like to take a photo.
Always,
right now.
Always.
Yeah. So that's I'm always got a backpack with me wherever I go. Like even though it's we go around the corner, camera and backpack.
Because when it's on you, you just kind of like. You just say, "Oh, I might as well try to find a shot since I have the camera on me." It just kind of not forces you, but it pushes you to like do the work instead of you not having the camera.
Yeah, I found myself sort of if I'm with people, I'm having conversations. Sometimes I can drift away, and they're like, "Brad," I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, sorry, I was just looking at like what a great shot that would be." Or like I just kind of look around and just sort of take in a lot more of the city, which is nice. It's a nice byproduct of. Even if you don't take the photo, you're still taking in more of like where you are.
Of course, and it just what if you're going home, if you're on a lunch break, just take your camera for like 20 minutes, and it's almost like therapy where you.
Oh, I don't know if I've lost you a little bit.
But I like how you. Sorry?
Oh, sorry. I think my internet just kind of.
Oh, did it disconnect? Are you back now?
Yeah, back here.
What I like about this shot is how you use the trees to frame St. Paul's. That's what I like about it. It's good.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I've tried to do that in a few shots recently, but it just makes it a little bit more interesting.
Yeah.
I suppose it kind of layers it.
Because I'm always thinking of ways to like photograph overshot things, right? Like in Toronto, we have the CN Tower, so I'm always trying to think of different ways to shoot it because everyone shoots it. So how are you going to do it different, right? So this is just one way of doing it. Yeah,
well, this shot was actually kind of done a little bit by accident or a bit impromptu. So we're walking through the grounds, and my girlfriend we were with some friends of ours. She said, "Can you take my picture?" And what you can't tell from this shot is just, I guess, the size of St. Paul's compared to where I was stood. If you actually panned that camera down, you'd fit 2 full people in the shot. Right. So this was actually just above their heads. So he said, "Take our photos." Oh yeah, fine, I will. And then I realized actually this is quite a good shot. So I
Yeah.
just kept panning above their head and didn't tell them, and then just took the shot.
Yeah.
And then came down again, and then took that shot afterwards.
Hey, always look up. I always say always look up in your photos because you just get a totally different perspective instead of shooting eye level. So you get a totally different perspective here.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Especially for architecture, because especially with like patterns and lines and symmetry and like buildings, you get some really cool stuff.
Yeah. Well, this shot that was actually taken. So I've been using a kind of point and shoot a lot more. So I literally found this camera for like £10. This kind of like old Helena.
Yeah.
Where you have to like flip open and to turn the flash on and that sort of thing. Like it's like literally flick this switch and it sticks out from the side of the camera. I don't know if you can see it on the right side to turn the flash on. And this is like, it feels like it's made out of paper.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah, I find much easier to kind of to walk around with because just to try and just jump out with the camera. But I think the top left one that I pinned to my profile and one above the St. Paul's one was a one might have lost you again.
Hazy Days in London.
Yeah, sorry, I keep sort of occasionally dropping out. So this one was my favorite one that I've taken so far, and this is just where I live. So I live just off to the right of this picture.
Like the big white building is my house.
Yeah. But no, that's the Queen's house in Greenwich.
Well, she wasn't home that day.
Nah, she was out. But where I'm stood is actually kind of a bit of history here, but that's kind of where it's the center of the Greenwich Mean Time line.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So right now, I suppose it's 10 to 1 a.m. Greenwich Mean Time. That's the line where it is. So,
really?
And again, just golden hour back in London, and
That's
I'm
cool.
trying to only be shooting in golden hour for that reason. That one kind of blew up a little bit. I went quite.
It's good, man. I didn't know that's where the actual time thing is.
Yeah, it's like this weird viewpoint across London. So I'll spend a lot of time there, sort of in the morning or in the evening. But that was taken with a Canon AE1. So I've got three. That's a lot.
Fujifilm 400 expired 2021. There you go. Still works.
Yeah. I get. I had no film left, and the only film I could find that was like a 400 at the time was sort of an expired one from Depop.
Yeah.
Yes.
I guess you save money too on the expired film, eh?
Yeah, I've taken a few shots on expired films just to kind of see what happens, which I thought was kind of cool.
See, just a note for everyone out there: just because it's expired doesn't mean it's no good.
Yeah, and I guess you kind of don't know how it's going to look. Or
exactly.
What happened to it, but
yeah,
this one wasn't that expired. It was just only just expired, so it's all right.
Cool, man. I dig that photo.
Thanks. Yeah, I've been trying around with some reels too. Just trying to see how they work, and I found this one interesting, which was
iPhone versus film. There you go. That's the ultimate.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what you should do? You should do one, but you don't say if it's iPhone or film, and see if people can see the difference.
Oh, so they can guess. That's a good idea. Yeah. I'll try it next. In fact, my next one I'm going to do is I'm torn between doing a car one. I've managed to kind of create a collect of a lot of photos of cars, which I find really hard to shoot. Some people make it look really easy. I've seen on IG. I always find myself in the wrong angles. But that was literally my last two reels. The one which that St. Paul's one came in, was part of. I made such an error, and I was so annoyed at myself. So this will make me sound the biggest amateur going, right? So it was definitely a harsh lesson learned. So obviously with like an SLR or the rangefinder on it, whatever you're looking through the rangefinder is what you're going to see, right? So you put your finger over the lens, you see it in the thing. So I used those first when I picked up the point and shoot.
Yeah.
If I put my finger over the shutter, you can't see it in the rangefinder. So I was taking all my photos portrait so I could use them for reels, right? Because obviously IG is pretty bad with cutting off the images to make them fit into their format. So that's why there's only a few photos in this reel. I only had a few at the time which weren't portrait just by weren't landscape just by default. So I was walking around taking photos like this.
Yeah. That's funny, man.
So I thought I'd do a reel of like the failed shots, and I came away with those two reels. I dropped them off, and I thought, do you know what? These are gonna be my best reels so far. I think it's some really cool pictures. I had someone like longboarding on the shore with like my finger was right in the center of the image.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Well, now you know for next time though.
Yeah. So I might do a reel of all the failed pictures.
Hey man, I think you know what? If you do that, I think it can take off because like we said earlier, it's people just show their wins, but they don't show like not their failures, but like how they learn stuff, right? Because we've all done that. We've all done silly stuff, but that's just how you learn.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah,
I've done it. I've done interviews where I forgot to press record and all that stuff. So it happens, right? Like, what are you gonna do about
it? Yeah. I guess if I do that, then if the off chance that someone sees it and is as stupid as me and goes, oh yeah, of course, then I'll send them a reel or two.
We've all done it, and chances are people will comment and say, I've done that too. We're all just people, right? So
but. Right. Yeah, most of my shots were based in London. A couple of them are based, I did a couple of a few in Italy, and a few in France. That's when I've been out and about.
Cool.
But yeah.
So this is a boss move right here. That's funny. I like it.
Oh yeah, that was Edinburgh.
Yeah. Scottish flag, yeah, cool. I like Edinburgh too. Good place, good city.
Yeah, lovely.
Market, yeah. I stayed here one time in an Airbnb when I was in London one time. It was cool. Like right next to this market. Yeah, I love London because there's just so many opportunities in terms of like, especially just like street stuff, right? Like I'm like who does anyone inspire you in London for like photography stuff? Like any accounts you follow on Instagram?
I mean, yes, I think there are quite a few based in London who I do follow. Some based in the UK. I think one of the first people that I saw is a guy called James Lugger. I don't think he's based in London. He's based sort of around the south coast of England, and he does a lot of sort of like lifestyle pictures where it's just him or his mates or just kind of day-to-day life sort of around the beach, which is really quite cool. I think most of the people I see shooting in London are kind of using digital cameras, and I see a lot of the kind of long exposure,
light trails. I know light trails.
Yeah. The big red buses and light trails, and
I've done that shot.
Yeah, loads of those. But I think for me the best thing about London is the kind of the combination of old buildings and new buildings, sort of
100%. Yeah. Is there like a meetup scene in London, like where you can find groups to hang out with?
I think that's the next step I'm gonna try and do.
Yeah, it's a good way to network and stuff.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think I've not found any. I've not really looked. So I would definitely like to get involved in it. I have seen people go around, with cameras in the groups going around together. whether they're just tournaments or whether they're actually groups beat off photography, I don't know. But no, yeah, I would like to. There's so many different places, to go to. So
Yeah, that's just the power of a group is A, you get to meet people, and B, it's fun to go with people, and C, you just learn stuff just by like
yeah,
talking too, right? It's like here in Toronto, like there's a huge meetup scene in Toronto. Like there's a million photo meetups in the city, so that's why I was curious because people tend to go to groups to A, meet people, and also B, like learn something too, right? Because by yourself is cool, but sometimes you want to hang out with other people too, you know?
yeah, it's true actually because I think half the time I take any photos is because I'm with a group of people who aren't doing it as
Yeah,
well.
that's
I'm
the
like, oh
trouble.
guys, just wait here for 1 second. I'm just gonna go take this shot, and they're like,
I
oh,
know that's the trouble.
all right, yeah,
That's the trouble with like your friends are into photography. It's like, whoa, what's Brad doing now? He's taking a photo.
yeah,
It's like, oh
yeah.
yeah,
No, I went to a wedding recently, and I brought it with me, and it kind of just it got cold. So it's I've got a Pentax that I got recently,
yeah,
and it's like from the 80s, I think. So
yeah,
they just kept saying like, "Oh, Brad, like, where's the 81?" Like
right,
constantly throughout the week. I was like, "Well, it's
right.
still here, guys."
Yeah,
But yeah, yeah, I think finding a group would be quite
yeah.
cool.
I don't know, just it's more fun. To me, it's like you got to learn something, and you got to go to places that maybe you didn't know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
a win-win, really.
yeah, no, definitely. I mean, yeah, I think, but to your point about who I'm following, who are based in London, I think most of the people I follow and look at, and whose work I kind of reshare and get inspired by, aren't actually people based in London. They're usually based in sort of like California.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so
Okay.
yeah, so very very different to what I do. I kind
Yeah.
of I did a post actually. I can't think which one it was. I did one recently. I kind of said on it like I'm very jealous of people who get to go and shoot the kind of like Californian style, like kind of
Right.
surfery beach kind of style photos, and people from the States
Yeah.
commented and said like, "Well, we think the same thing about you guys in England," which I
Oh,
didn't expect. So
yeah, man. If there's like, did you ever think that you would get into photography? Like, were you creative as a kid, like in school? Like,
I'm kind of someone who picks something up for a little while, plays around with
mm,
it, and then moves on to something else. But this is definitely kind of stuck.
you
I was definitely quite creative at school. I'm in quite a fairly creative role as well at work.
yeah,
But I didn't feel like I was getting the full creative outlet.
yeah.
Um, and do you know what? I can't even. I know when I got into it, and I know obviously which camera I bought and when it was, but I can't actually tell you why. It's
Yeah.
like, I
It
think I
just
just saw an IG.
it just sort of happened, right?
Yeah,
It just sort
yeah,
of happened.
yeah. That was it. Like I think, yeah, whether I was just watching something or something with our film, I just thought like I want to do more of it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, there's a film actually I watched. I think at the same time, which also helped, and it was
Yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's with Jason Sudeikis in
Oh
it,
yeah.
and he it's a film about him and his dad going on a travel across the country to get some old sort of
Oh,
kind
I
of
know. I've seen it. I forget the title though.
yeah, and I think I watched it at the same time as I was kind of thinking, should I not?
Yeah.
And then I thought, actually, yeah, I'm going to go for it.
Yeah, it's funny how it happens sometimes because I always think, well, if I started in high school, I'd be so much further along. Like I didn't really start until like 5 years ago. So um, just funny how like just things happen. It's like all of a sudden, oh, I really like this, and then you start doing it for a period of time, and then it just becomes like a thing for you, right? So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's funny. It's funny how people get into certain things because I didn't go to school for any of it. You just like that's like the great thing about like these days that we're living in. It's like you don't need to ask anyone for permission. You just like do it. You take the photo, you post on Instagram. Whatever it is, you don't need to ask anyone for permission. So That's like the power of like the times we're living in, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think I was walking around.
You
I
know?
remember when I was going around in Italy, I had my phone out and I'd found some old PDF instruction manual of how to use the kind of use the camera, and the camera in my right hand. I
Yeah,
was like, oh, okay, cool. I'll take the photo and I'll make sure it's right. Okay. And
yeah,
like, go over as I waiting patiently, just like hurry up. And I'm just like, yeah, don't worry, I'll do
yeah,
it. And then obviously you spend forever taking the photo and you walk away and you realize you've got the wrong ISO setting on the
yeah.
camera.
It's like yeah. Shots like blown out and everything, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it doesn't massively overexposed, or again, your fingers over it. So,
Yeah. It's
but yeah,
all part of the process.
yeah, it is. I think it's probably the first. I'm usually the first to kind of berate myself against something wrong. But with this, like I don't mind being wrong, and
Yeah,
there's been times when I've walked away and thought, oh, God, that's going to be such a bad shot. I didn't realize I did it wrong, and then it comes back and it looks great. And then
yeah,
the shot I thought was going to be great comes back.
yeah. It's always yeah. I know it's weird though, because it like in my head, it's always better in my head, but when you see it, it doesn't really match like your expectations.
Yeah. No,
Reality was like
definitely.
expectations kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've just got so much more to learn about it. Really, like I think I don't know if you can call it cheating, but the Canon A1 that I have, it's kind of fully automatic.
Yeah,
So that's my kind of my backup in case I don't feel confident enough or don't have the time to kind of go out there and start to kind of measuring all the kind of things of
you have to
different
process.
dials. Yeah.
Interesting. Are you like more of like a sunrise person or a sunset person for photography?
Good question.
I
I
guess it's
guess.
the time of year too, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'd probably say from what I've experienced, sunrise would be easier to shoot
Yeah,
because I've tried to take quite a few sunset shots and they just come back sort of really dark and like without color. But but I guess just because of the fact I really like to shoot in golden hour because I'm trying to mimic that kind of old Californian golden hour look, over here, probably leaning towards sunset.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. How about
Totally.
you?
I like sunrise, but now summertime the sunrise is early, so it's harder for me to get up. But
Yeah.
I like sunrise more because I like to start the day that way.
Right.
It's almost like yoga, but for like photography.
Yeah. It's
It's
like that.
like I said, it's like you kind of get in your zone and it's quiet, like no one's around, it's quiet, you're kind of in your zone, and it's like just like a zen kind of thing. So
Yeah.
um, wintertime is easier because the sun rises later, but it's also flipping cold out, which I don't like. I'm a summer person, like I don't like winter at all, so I'm in the wrong country. But
Yeah.
um, so like if you ever come to Toronto, come in the summertime. So just saying, unless you like the cold.
No.
No, yeah. So
No,
yeah, to me it's like
man, it's always cold.
yeah. Um, yeah, morning I like. Yeah, I've been to like London a few times, so there's so many places I really enjoyed shooting. Trying to think of like certain spots that I did. Oh, there was one time that I tried to go inside was it a train station with my camera, and they wouldn't let me because it's like, oh, no cameras inside the train stations.
Really?
And I said, oh, I'm a tourist, blah blah blah. I said, no, can't do it. I'm like, damn it, because I forget what train station it was, but it was a really nice train station. I wanted to do like a black and white of it, but man,
All right. Could be
yeah,
like,
I forget. I can't remember like the name of it, but honestly, like I would just walk like 12 hours a day and just like shoot like nonstop. It was bananas.
yeah.
But like we said offline, it's like when you don't live somewhere, it's gonna be all new for you. Like it's all gonna be exciting and blah blah blah. And so it's always that kind of like twist to it where you don't live somewhere. It's you'll walk 10,000 steps for like a shot because you don't live there.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah, very good point. I feel like I've been here in London for about 10 years.
Maybe Paddington.
But there's so many areas that I don't actually know. Actually, I think I just seen that pop up.
Paddington, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to suggest the same one.
It might have been Paddington.
It has sort of a really, really long concourse with some really big it's like kind of glamorous roof. Yeah. I used to work there every day actually, so yeah, I wasn't surprised if it was Paddington. I've been here for 10 years, and I feel like I've probably fallen into the trap now of thinking I know everywhere when I don't. So I kind of always go to the same places to shoot. There's times when I'll put film in sort of in the camera in the flat before I leave.
Yeah.
It's like a 20-minute walk to get to like the nearest train station. And I'll take like 5 or 6 shots of the same thing again.
Yeah.
By default.
Yeah, exactly. If I were to visit, what place would you take me to shoot?
Down here.
Yeah.
Well, it depends on what sort of what shot you want. I mean, would you want to go for like kind of like a sort of inner city shot, or are you sort of more of a
anything? That's just like say I visit and it's like you're the boss and well you're gonna go where I go. So where's the spot that it's like, in Toronto we say bangers, which means good shots. So where's the place where you would
go for a banger? All right, so I'd probably say, I mean, I'm a bit of a biased towards Greenwich, where I am currently.
Yeah.
You've got sort of incredibly old kind of naval buildings. So that shot we showed before, the viewpoint of where time is. You can have in that one area, you can have a high point where you can see the whole of London, and you have like the old like white building we saw was just like the kind of one small aspect of it. There's so many kind of old architectural buildings. You've got the river. You have the cute little town that's in East End London. Also really cool. Got a lot of different mixtures. So in East London now you have all the kind of the big skyscrapers which are kind of building into the old kind of Cockney end of London. So also a great area. But then again, I mean, I think if you looked at sort of London on the map and you had different quarters of north and south and west, you're going to get such a huge hugely different sort of style of the city, which different shots.
I always try to whenever I'm visiting somewhere, I try to like not do the tourist stuff and like do like things like a little bit off grid. Like I've been to like Shoreditch, London, Shoreditch, and like those areas around there. Yeah. Someone told me to go there. I said, okay, I'll go because I kind of want to see different stuff. Like everyone's different, but for me, it's like if I were to visit Toronto, it's like, okay, here's the same tower, cool, but like show me something like different that not everyone's going to see. So maybe I'll take someone,
I think in that case, then you probably so if you go a little bit more sort of northeast of Shoreditch, you want to go around that sort of Hackney, London Field area. Yeah. That's where I think kind of that's the cooler areas where all real, I don't know, like just not like the touristy vibe, but more of like a real kind of like street photography point of view. Yeah. I don't know, documentary kind of angle on it. Yeah. Well, that's it. I think currently sort of it might be the same in Toronto as well, but like in London, the kind of the next scene or the cooler areas are the ones which are pretty roughed up, but are kind of growing out. And I think so East London, sort of Hackney area, London Fields, sort of where it's currently at.
Roy's saying Liverpool Docks. Do you know that place?
Liverpool Docks. Do you know what? No, I'm not going to
Roy's here in Toronto.
Oh, cool. No, he's stumped me. Oh, look.
Liverpool Docks. All right.
Oh, sorry. Actually, in Liverpool. Yeah. I thought that was an area.
Liverpool, not in London. Okay.
Not in London.
That would make sense, I guess.
Unless it is, and I'm just Google. I don't know.
The Docklands.
Yeah, the Liverpool Docks in London. So the Albert Docks in Liverpool. Sorry, pretty cool. Oh, the Docklands. So that's where I currently live.
Yeah,
So
he's there.
that's Greenwich is sort of in and around the Docklands area. Docklands, all the old wharfs, Canary Wharf is the start of the Docklands. So it's, what's actually really cool about the Docklands area? So it's really hard to capture on camera, and it drives me insane how and it's you know how obviously things the view you're looking at looks much bigger in person than obviously on a camera and on a photo. So there's London City Airport, right? Okay. In the Docklands area. So obviously, you have the main ones like Gatwick and Heathrow, and they're the kind of the big, massive, giant, busy airports. You have London City Airport, which is a runway on the Thames, pretty much.
Yeah.
In East London. And when the planes take off from City Airport, they go off the Thames and they just fly straight over Canary Wharf. And it looks
really?
about 5 meters above the buildings.
Really?
And they're huge.
Really?
And I've tried so many times to get a good photo of a plane over there. Obviously, in real life, you're thinking like, wow, that's massive. That's so close. Yeah. And obviously, on a camera or a photo, it looks like a little dot.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Docklands is really cool because you have all the old wharves. So there's an area in London called Wapping, which is it's an area which still has all the old warehouse and all the docking stations and all the old kind of spice warehouses, which are really old kind of these buildings which have walkways between them overlapping above the sky. It's called Shad Thames.
Oh, cool.
That's like an area you should check out.
Oh man, I want to come visit now.
Yeah.
Never know. Really, the planes come that close, eh?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I did on my IG recently. I did a reel. I was just when it's kind of cheating as a video on my iPhone, but of Canary Wharf and the plane coming over it. But yeah, no, they're massive. Yeah. Unfortunately, you can't really show it to the same scale.
I found it.
I'm not sure. Again, you won't really see it. Like, you can't see it on this really, but you can kind of see it just on the right side there, going across the sky.
I see it.
But that plane will land about half a mile behind where I've stood, if that.
Oh, really?
It has to be that low to come down.
Oh, really?
But I don't know if you've ever flown sort of over London, but it's probably the best view I've ever had from any plane flying over London at night time.
Yeah, I need to make some pilot friends. I think that can take me up. These are friends you need to have. Pilot friends,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah,
hook it up. They hook it up for you. No worries. It's cool, man. I've never been to this spot in London, so next time I would definitely have to check it out.
Yeah, well, that's actually filmed from the Docklands sort of area in Greenwich. So.
See, Roy's saying great place for snaps. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why I spend most of my time now just knocking around the area. Yeah, I think. It
must be so nice too in like the summertime and everything, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure how great it'll be in winter when it's just sort of cold and grey and just everything's the same color. I want to start taking more pictures of people. To be honest. Yeah, I think it seems to be very, very different. People seem to make it look really easy.
Depends on your approach. What's your approach? Are you kind of like a sniper where you get like a zoom lens and snipe people off? Or are you gonna go up to people and ask them?
Yeah, I think
game and all that stuff.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it more candid if I can. Yeah. I name dropped someone before in that sort of it's like James Lugger Films. He's basically just got a point and shoot, and it's just people just hanging out on the beach and sort of enjoying themselves and that sort of thing. And even though it's taken of people today, it looks nostalgic and it makes you it adds a big dimension into kind of the image. And I find that really hard to do. So that's one thing.
It's different. It's different because like I don't know what the rules are in London, but here in Toronto, like if you're in a public place, it's all fair game because there's no expectation of privacy. So I don't know what the rules are in London for that. If people are in public spot, it's fair game.
Yes, that's good. That's a good point. I think obviously us Brits have a bit of a stereotype of all being very too polite. You know, like, oh, sorry, very sorry.
Not true. Not true.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's two extremes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it depends really. So if I've got a big zoom lens, then you know, I suppose you can get away with it.
People off. Yeah, you're gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it just depends what you're wearing as well. I can't wear a big trench coat and a big.
Yeah, I know, right? Sunglasses, briefcase. What's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've always had this discussion. Yeah, we've always had this discussion about street. It's like you can snipe people off, or the other way to do it is you can actually go talk to someone, maybe get their story, right? So with the photo, you kind of get their story. You may lose a bit of the candidness, but
yeah,
if you can put a story of that person to the photo, sometimes that's a little bit more powerful. So I mean, it depends on how you want to do it, but
yeah,
and obviously like the more times you like go up to people and hey, my name's Brad. You can even do a project. Say, hey, I'm doing like a London street photography project, and I thought you'd be great. What's your name? Blah blah blah. Where are you going? Blah blah blah. And
yeah.
You never know. You never know what can happen.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I think I used to follow an account called like Tales of New York or Lives.
Yeah, the streets, humans in New York.
Humans in New York. Yeah,
yeah. Something like that, man.
Yeah, that was really cool.
Some crazy stories.
Yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, I think honestly like the trick is just to like start doing it. So maybe you start off with just like sniping people off, and then maybe you get a little bit more comfortable, and then from there maybe you can start doing like a Humans of London Instagram account.
Yeah,
which I don't know if it's even taken. Let me see if it's even taken. You would think it is.
You hope so.
You would think it is. Humans of London.
Doesn't just grab it straight away. Yeah, no, I think.
Well, it's not Ontario though. I'm on London, UK. Well, there's an account. Well, this person, there's only 69 followers. What the? Oh, you can totally take this over. It's inactive. 331 weeks ago.
All right.
Let me show it. Let me show it to you. Maybe you can like make a note.
There you go. First plug.
I'm telling you, like, look at this account's dead. Because this is 2016.
Oh shit.
And yeah, I don't know. You never know, man.
Never know.
You never know. You just never know what could happen.
Yeah, I think for me now at the moment, I think I just need to try a whole bunch of stuff and just see, and see
what you like. I think that's the whole trick with photography is that just try a bunch of stuff and see what you like and see what you don't like, because there's just like so much to like know and absorb, and sometimes it gets a little bit much. So the more that you do it, I think the easier it becomes to like digest everything and like see like where you want to go with it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Especially over here, there's so much going on all the time in London, and it's just, even just to look at, there's so much going on. And I think that's why I really like that whole Californian style. It's so simplistic, but it tells a story at the same time. It's really great. I feel like my favorite shots are the ones where it's so, on the face of it, it's just a bit, oh great, it's just someone's taking a picture of an old dude on the beach looking out at younger people in the sea. But it seemed really, just a picture. But then they're the ones I like the most, because you can make up your own mind of what story is behind that. And exactly. I feel like with mine, a lot of it is architectural, which is pretty one-dimensional in that respect. It's pretty much what you're looking at is what you're going to get. So trying to incorporate more people and more kind of personal stories is one thing I like to do more.
I think so. Yeah, I think there's power to that, because like we said earlier, like you kind of get off like the fakeness of social media. Now you're like showing real people and like real stories, and I think people like resonate with that kind of like rawness, right? So
Yeah.
Especially in London, where there's just like so much going on. Like I just remember going down the escalator in rush hour on the tube. I'm like, this is totally insane, because like here in Toronto we have rush hour, but it's not like your rush hour.
Yeah.
Like on Metro, like it's different.
Yeah, it
I
gets
thought I was
heavy.
gonna die that day. It was too much. Like, what's going on?
Yeah. I've done that a few times. Yeah,
Yeah.
it gets so heavy, you get so busy. Yeah, I think there's a real stigma where people in London aren't that, you know, I'm very polite, I'm not very kind, and
Yeah.
so it's just head down. If you're in the way, you're in the way, and you're
Yeah,
gonna get
yeah.
moved that way. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. I've always enjoyed the people there. It was super cool. And when I say I'm from Canada, they're like, "Oh, we love Canadians." I'm like, "Hey, fantastic."
yeah, no, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no, they're a nice bunch when you talk to them, but if you get in the way of their morning commute, and you know,
Yeah.
stampedes.
Yeah. Big cities everywhere have their rush hour. They all got their thing going on. But yeah, it's definitely a vibe. That's for sure. It's definitely a vibe. So
Yeah,
you just gotta keep going, man. I mean, it's so simple, but like you just gotta keep going with it, because that's just how things happen.
yeah. I think now, recently I've been taking a photo, well, for two reasons, on my phone before the camera.
Oh,
And I
really?
think, yeah, so it kind of defeats the point, I suppose. But I feel like I'll try it on my phone and go like, how could this look before
Yeah.
I take it? So I go, you
Right.
know, before I kind of
Right.
have to take it and wait a few
Right.
weeks and then go back. It's like,
Right.
how could it look?
Okay.
Okay, it looks pretty cool. It looked great on film. I'll take it.
Okay.
And then I've also got, in addition, I've got a photo on a phone versus a film photo of the same picture. So I
Ah,
can then go and, you know, do the,
interesting. I like that approach.
yeah,
It's almost like a primer for you. You can kind of like see if there's potential or not.
yeah, exactly, yeah, you know, especially with the kind of point and shoot. I mean,
Yeah.
actually, I'll rephrase that. Not with the point and shoot, because I
Yeah.
just go. The idea of this for me is like it needs to be rough and ready. If it's a bit
Yeah. Yeah.
wonky, if it's off, or if there's like a light flare or
Right.
whatever, like, that's good. But then with the kind of SLR cameras, it's a bit more like before I go and get the setup and get it right and test it, how could it look? But yeah, exactly. It's testing
Yeah.
it.
Okay. I like that approach. It works for you though, right?
Yeah, if I don't have to be quick.
Works for
Yeah,
you.
if
It's gotta be quick.
yeah, if the shot's static,
Yeah.
that's okay. If it's a
Yeah.
moving
Yeah.
object, it's gotta be quick. Yeah.
Yeah. Like a plane, for example.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was reading about how to make the best shots of moving objects. You know, when you have like you manage to leave space in the image for the object to kind of move into.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, so before I know it, I'm there taking okay film. I'm like phone. Sorry, yeah, okay, that's great, cool. Okay,
Yeah.
right film, get the right aperture, get the right everything. I've missed it. That's gone.
Yeah.
So yeah, gotta be quicker.
Yeah. No. It's all part of the fun, man.
Yeah,
It's all part of
yeah.
the fun. No, it's great. Well, we're come to 1:30, so I don't want to keep you from going to bed. So we can wrap this up now. Any final words for the audience? Advice? Anything else?
Advice. I think any advice I can give is going to be based on
Yeah.
things that I've done
Nice.
wrong.
I love
But
it.
no,
That's how we all learn.
yeah, yeah. My main advice would be just you know, understand that with a point and shoot, you know, what you see through the viewfinder isn't always what the on the shot's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
see.
I like it.
Um,
Yeah, it's good though.
yeah, but no, I'm really enjoying it. It's something that I think I'm going to do for a long while. It's something, you know, that you know, it can complement a certain, you know, situation so much.
Yeah.
So, you know, I took mine to a wedding recently alongside, you know, so they had hired a photographer who, you know, a digital photographer, and I was there with my little film camera, and we did a little project of I'd take kind of sniper shots of the wedding alongside, and, took it away, and if they were great, we'd package it up and give it to the bride and groom, which went down really well. Got a reel of it on my Instagram, turned it into like a little bit of a wedding reel, which is really great. So it just adds a whole new lens, doesn't it, to things. So.
100%. That's good, man. I like it. It's good. It's good advice. Brad, thanks so much for doing this.
No, thank you.
Hopefully you're not late for work tomorrow. If you're late for work tomorrow, you can blame this show. How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, I was on this podcast at 12:30 with this guy Paul from Toronto. Like what? Huh?
Definitely more enjoyable than work. Yeah, I do this. Whenever I can.
Cool. Brad, thanks again, everyone. Go follow Film Brad on Instagram, and maybe we'll have you back on at some point. See what you're up to.
Yeah, that'd be great. Cool.
And if I'm in London, I'll definitely message you for sure.
Yeah, please do. Yeah, hit me up.
100%. Thanks, everyone. This will be on Spotify tomorrow and Google Podcasts. So if you're watching this thing, thanks so much, and we'll see you next week for something else. Have a great evening. Thanks, Brad.
Cheers, Paul. Thanks.